Okay guys, I'm not here. I'm coaching today, so we're just going to do a short video on percent and percent problems. We've covered some of this already. We're just going to kind of change it up and try something new. Alright, so percent, the word literally means per cent. Think about what cents are. Think dollars. A cent is a penny, right? Has to do with 100. So per cent means literally for every 100. So 27% would be 27 for every 100. Percents are fractions, and they represent parts out of 100. How many are there out of 100? Okay, so we write these as a proportion. We say A is a part of B, and P over 100 is a percent. Okay, so go ahead and take a second, get this in your notes, pause the video if you need to. Okay, another way we can write this, and you're going to want this in your notes too, a little bit of a cheat sheet for you. Looks like this. When you see questions that revolve around percentages, you're going to see this language a lot. Something is and something of. So whatever is a part or a piece is going to go on top right here. Whatever it's of, whatever that part is of, is also called the base, and that's what's going to go down here at the bottom. Okay. This is always whatever your percentage is. And then the last thing, this is always 100, no matter what. It's always going to be 100. So that's a way you can start things off whenever you see one of these problems. Now you have to have at least 3 of those parts if you're going to solve that proportion or that equation. You can't have more than 2 missing parts. So of these 3 right here, I have to have at least 2 of them. The 100 we're always going to have. But of these 3, I have to have at least 2 of them. I can only be missing 1 if I want to save that. So make sure you have both of these down in your notes. Pause it if you have to, and we're going to move on. What percent of 25 is 17? So this is where we would start. I always start with that. Two ratios equal to each other, so it's a proportion. What percent? So I don't know what the percent is. So that's going to be my variable. You can make it an x. I'll use p for percent, but it can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a p. Of 25 is the next phrase that I see. Of 25. That means that 25 is the base. So he's going to go down here. Is 17 means that's going to go on top. Remember we had is over of equals percent over 100. So the thing that is my 17. The thing that's of is my 25. That's my base. I have my part divided by my base equals some percent over 100. Now we solve, so the part was 17. We solve these using cross products, so I'm going to multiply straight across. So 17 times 100 is going to equal P times 25. So 1700 equals 25P. Okay, so I need to divide both sides by 25. Just grab a calculator for that. There's no reason that we have to do this by hand. And divide 1700 by 25, and it's 68. Just remember that that's a percent. Okay, that's important. So 17 is 68% of 25. Let's do some more. Same kind of question. I'm still missing the percent, so I'm going to start it like this again. I know that that's always going to be there. What percent means I don't know my percent, so I'll make it a P. Of 20 means that's the base. Is 15 means that's the part. So remember we had is over of equals some percent over 100. There's our cheat sheet again. So we use our cross products. 15 times 100 equals p times 20. Okay, so 1500 equals 20p. Same thing again, bring my calculator back out. I need to divide both sides by 20 to get p by itself. So that's 1500 divided by 20, enter 75. And that's a percent, right? Because we were looking for what percent. And we're done. Take a second if you need to copy that down. We're going to keep doing tons of examples before we turn you guys loose on the homework. What number is 30% of 90? So I have a different piece this time that I'm missing. I'm still going to start with this. We can always start with that. What number is? That's what I don't know. The number that is. Let's make that an X. You can use whatever letter you want. It's 30%, so that goes on top, of 90. There's my base right there. So it's still a proportion. I still only have one missing piece. I'm still going to use cross products. So X times 100 has to be equal to 30 times 90. So that's 100x. No reason not to use a calculator here. 30 times 90. 30 times 90. Whoops, not divided by 90. It's 2700. Then I gotta get rid of this 100, so I'm gonna divide both sides by 100. Oops, sorry. By 100. Okay, so 100 divided by 100 is gone. I just have an X. 27 divided by 100, 2700, so the zeros cancel. It's just 27 over 1, so 27. Remember, this time it was asking for a number, not a percent, so it's just 27. 27 is 30% of 90. Let's keep moving. The percent equation is another way to set these up. They don't have to be proportions. Somebody realized a long time ago that we're doing the exact same calculations every single time when we have percent proportions, and so they just simplified it just a little bit. So the percent equation, this is still the part, this is still the percentage obviously, and this is still the base. Okay, the one difference is back here when I did this one, when I had 30%, I put 30 over 100. Notice that the percent equation doesn't have that 100 in it. It just has a percent. So in the percent equation, you have to do this part by yourself. The percent equation, you got to do this part by yourself. We're going to have to divide by 100 before we plug it in. So for example, 45 is 45% of 100. That makes sense. 45% means it would be 45 over 100. If I wanted to write this in the percent equation, it would look like this. 45 is 45%, so that's going to be 45 divided by 100. So that's 0.45 times the base, which is going to be 100. And we could check if you multiply those together, you will get 45, which means it's true, which means it has to be the case. And obviously that makes sense because we set it up to work that way. Make sure you have this in your notes. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. I'm going to keep moving. So what percent of 136 is 51? So instead of using the proportion, we're going to use the percent equation just to show you what that looks like. A equals P percent times B. This is the part. It looks like I'm missing the percent, so P is what the variable is going to be. That's going to be my variable. Of 136, so this has to be the base, is 51. This should be a question mark, not a percent sign. So what percent, that's going to be a P, of 136 is 51. So it should look like that. Part equals percent times the base. To get p by itself, I have to divide by 136. Okay, those will be gone. Again, calculator. 51 divided by 136. 51 divided by 136 is 0.375. 0.375 equals p. So if I want to list that as a percentage, I have to move my decimal point 2 places to the right. So 37.5% is p. If it asks for the percent, you should give it as a percent, not as a decimal. Okay. If you're not done, go ahead and take a second to finish copying that. We're going to do a couple more examples. What number is 15% of 88? What number is 15% of 88? So, let's just get the percent equation down. Part equals the percent times the base. So what number is means that's my part. I don't know that. That's going to stay an A or an X. It's your choice. It's going to be 15%, so we got to divide by 100. That's 0.15 of 88. Means we're going to multiply by 88. So this is probably the easiest way to go. All I have to do is calculate that. So remember, that's multiplication happening in there. So I'm just going to get my calculator out. 0.15 times 88. Just hit enter. 13.2. So A equals 13.2. We were looking for a number, so there's no percent sign on that. And we're done. Depending on which piece you need, you save yourself a couple steps. Last one here. 20 is 12.5% of what number? Part equals the percent times the base, remember? So 20 is means that that's the part. 12.5%. Not sure what happened there. 12.5% of what number? So 12.5% has to be turned into a decimal. I'm going to divide it by 100, which means I just move the decimal place 2 spots to the left. It's going to become 0.125 times of what number? So I don't know what that is. We're going to make that an X. So to get X by itself, I have to divide by 0.125. So what I do to one side, I got to do to both. So let's get the calculator back here. These are easy. They just cancel each other out. So over here, I still have X. 20 divided by 0.125. 20 divided by 0.125. Hit enter. 160. It's a number, not a percent, so we're done. Okay, I've saved all of these pages that we've just been working on, and they're all stapled together. If anybody wants to see any of these examples again, if you need to work together, that's totally fine as long as you're getting work done. There's a worksheet. There aren't too many on there. I think there's 14 questions. They're all different percents. So make sure you get them figured out and you're working together. I have a key for the worksheet as well that the guest teacher has, so you can go ahead and check your answers. Make sure you're checking them, not copying them. Okay, let's make sure we get this taken care of. Your homework is the percent problems worksheet. It is an orange worksheet. Good luck, guys, and I'll see you when I get back.